everybody on Twitter and in the Colts fan bases pointing fingers. It's Wentz's fault. It's Reich's fault. It's Ballard's fault. Because those are the three easiest ones to point to. But after such a horrendous loss, there is really nobody. There's nobody to point fingers at. Everyone was at fault. It's not just Wentz. Our MVP running back couldn't even get 100 yards this game, and we gave him carries. Our receivers couldn't catch balls, and while Wentz wasn't the best, he still put balls that were catchable there, and they didn't do it. Our defensive line couldn't put pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Our linebackers couldn't put pressure on Trevor Lawrence, and they couldn't cover. And our cornerbacks couldn't cover, and our safeties couldn't cover, and our special teams couldn't produce any energy whatsoever. The coaches made bad calls. It's everybody's fault. There's nobody to point fingers at. Because everybody sucked. It's not fire Ballard or fire Reich or trade Carson Wentz or whatever. It's everybody. It is everybody. Everybody wants to be like, oh, we don't want Carson Wentz here next season. Who do you want? Who do you want? Who do you want instead? Who do you want a head coach instead? Who do you want a general manager instead? Who do you want a quarterback instead? I don't see anybody pointing fingers at Darius Leonard. I don't see anybody pointing fingers at Kenny Moore. I don't see anybody pointing fingers at DeForest Buckner. I don't see anybody pointing fingers at Jonathan Taylor. All those guys had opportunities to play good, and they all sucked just like the rest of them. If you want Wentz gone, then you must want Leonard gone. You must want DeForest Buckner gone. You must want Kenny Moore gone. All these guys had opportunities to make plays, and they didn't. Actually use your brain and blame everybody. You shouldn't fire Chris Ballard, because without Chris Ballard, Ryan Grigson is still here, and we probably have another top quarterback who's getting injured because he has a terrible offensive line. Without Reich, we probably have Jacoby Brissett playing this year. Yeah, he has connections with Carson Wentz, and I know everybody's upset because they think that the only reason Wentz is here is because Reich is friends with him. Ballard's the one that made the trade, not Reich. Reich probably, even at the beginning of the year, Ballard said, do you want Carson Wentz? And of course Reich said yes. It was Ballard's decision first. It wasn't Reich's. Wentz isn't here because of Reich. Wentz is here because of Ballard. And Wentz has done he's done more than what we expected him to do. He's done what his job is. Like, 1 second we don't want him to play hero ball. We don't want him to, be the guy. He doesn't have to be the guy. But then in this game, we're like, he has to be the guy. Make up your minds. What do you want out of these players? What do you want out of some of these guys, and what do you don't want? Because then, when you don't get what you didn't expect in the first place, you can't be upset, because that's not that person's job. You're getting upset for someone not doing a job that they weren't supposed to do, that they aren't paid to do. It's everyone's fault. Everyone sucked. It's not just one player's fault. We shouldn't blow up the team and rebuild. I've seen that suggestion. Yep, blow up the team and rebuild instead of just adding good players, replacing Eric Fisher because he sucked, adding better cornerback depth, adding better defensive end depth, getting more receivers, stuff like that. Build on a good foundation. You already have a good young foundation to build on. Why would we blow it up? Why would we get another quarterback for the 4th or 5th year in a row now? We can't keep on doing this thing where we get a new quarterback every year, because that's part of the problem, is we haven't had a mainstay at quarterback for these guys to connect to. We need to have a mainstay at quarterback, and I think Wentz can be that if we just stop blaming everything on him, even when it isn't his fault. Wentz is probably going to be that. I hope he stays. He's a good quarterback despite everybody constantly dogging on him, because we need to have a mainstay at quarterback. As an offensive player, you can't have a new quarterback coming in and out every single year. That's a recipe for disaster. Can't have a new coach coming out every single year. I don't know who would we have replace Reich. I mean, he's a good coach. Who would we have replace Ballard? Who is going to get the same value out of draft picks that Chris Ballard gets? Please do explain to me who else is going to get that same value. Who else is going to be able to build a team like this? We shouldn't fire everybody just because of this. We shouldn't trade everybody just because of this. This was just a bad game. And we have to get them next year. That's all there is to it. We have to get them next year. Improve in the offseason. Draft right. That's all there is. That's all you can do. This game sucked. Nobody could do anything. This fan base is terrible. Some of the suggestions I'm seeing. All that. Started 1-3, then clawed your way back. Just to not even make the playoffs. And it's just frustrating for me because, like, I was still, saying we can still do good when we were 1-3. I was saying, don't give up on the year. And people were telling me, give up on the year. It's done. We should tank. And I was like, we shouldn't give up on the year. And then you get to this game, and right before, the same people telling me to give up on the year are like, oh, we're in the playoffs. Like, it's going to happen. There's no chance we're not going to make it. And they are riding high the whole time. And, like, same people told me to give up, have more optimism than I do. And then as soon as we start losing, they come and tell me that I'm stupid. That I don't have a good opinion. Yeah. Yeah. Well, just gotta do good in the offseason and get some players that can help us win, hopefully. Gotta add some better players. I mean, whether it's a rookie left tackle or getting players, whether we get them through free agency or get them through the draft, I don't care. I just care that we get the players that are gonna play good. I mean, Eric Fisher started the year off good, and then after that, in the first half of the season, he was good. And then in the second half of the season, he started playing really bad. I mean, really bad. So hopefully we sign someone in free agency or draft someone that's good. I don't care which it is. We just need to get someone better, which shouldn't be that hard to do. And defensive end, just getting, more depth, better defensive ends. And cornerback, in this game we saw as soon as... In this season, we've seen at DB, we'll get Julian Blackman back next year, and Rocky Sin should play good and all that. But we need to have more depth for that when these injuries do happen, that our secondary doesn't go to crap. Because that's what lost us some of these games. We need to have better depth, and then receiver-wise, we got to have more outside of Michael Pittman and Naheem Hines. We got to have some better receivers, because Zach Pascal hasn't really performed. Paris Campbell hasn't really performed. Ashton Doolin looks like he might be good next year. But we got to get some better receivers. I feel like Mike Strachan could have had a good year, but for whatever reason, just because he wasn't performing well on special teams, we didn't put him on active roster hardly ever. Even though when he went in the beginning of the year, he was actually playing pretty well. But because he's not a good special team, we're not going to put him on there. You didn't freaking bring him here to play on special teams. You brought him here to be a receiver. Nobody was expecting him to be a special teams ace. So why are you expecting that? Whatever. I'll never understand the coach's decision for that. I'll never understand their decision for that. That one just doesn't make sense to me. See you guys next time. As always, I'm not funny, and can't wait to wait another 8 months. Another 8 months. can't believe I'm gonna go 8 months without. Yeah.
Just got unlucky on a few plays tonight. You know, one of those plays, I thought he was standing still, but he just hit the shit out of that one guy, and the guy went flying. They blew the whistle, and they called it on him.